we about to get started. Let's go. Let's paint something today. I often wonder if I should do like a tutorial element of this, but I think the biggest tutorial that I could give is to just go do it. Just go do it. Go make that painting. Go make that artwork. It's waiting for you. The world is waiting for your next masterpiece. Highly refreshing. And shirt smells funny. It smells a little smoky. I don't smoke, but for some reason it smells a little smoky. All right, so we're gonna paint over this. This is not a painting I created. This big masterpiece here, but I'm painting on top of it because it's fun. Because it's an interesting, amusing thing to do. So I actually got this as a gift, frame and everything, this massive paint. Actually, I don't think it's a painting. I think it's a print of some sort. But it's a very large painting. People love landscapes, but it's a very 4 feet by 3 feet painting with frame. I think with the frame it becomes a little bit more than 4 feet. But let's see right here. This is a good angle, right? Because if I paint here, you can see. If I paint here, you can see. All right, cool. That's a good angle. Let me set the wheels down. Lock these wheels in place for my easel here, so that it doesn't jiggle and wiggle, wiggle and jiggle. Wiggling and jiggling. And right now, just opening up some supplies here, including my jar of oil. So this is my container of, I prefer walnut oil. And I keep my walnut oil in one jar. And it's used for both cleaning and just as like a regular medium. And then I have this other supply here. Some good old mineral spirits, and between every single change of color in a brush, I pretty much switch into this. So that's the secrets of my artwork. And from there, you just kind of you just paint and figure it out. So let's see, we're gonna build up some more color on our figure here, and we're gonna look to enhance some of our shadows. So we're gonna grab our burnt umber, or raw umber from the other day, and let's just try to. We're gonna darken the dark areas, and continue adding some deep shadows into this. So this paint is still wet, so it's actually gonna be fairly difficult to achieve some of the effects I'd like to achieve. Because if it's wet, that means that the paint is not going to go on as effectively as I would like. That's all right. So we're gonna come into here. I'm just gonna create a nice, gentle underline of her face. Nice little undershadow here. That in. And I think the light's gonna come right around here as well. Now I just thought of something. What if the Mona Lisa was actually a man? Because traditionally, like that would literally shatter the world's mind, right? Because traditionally, artists, especially in Leonardo da Vinci's days, I mean, you know, Leonardo was a was supposedly a gay man, Leonardo da Vinci, and traditionally he used men or women were used as models for figures. I mean, you know, it's probably not true because they actually have like an idea of who the actual person was that is referenced in the Mona Lisa. But what if? You know, what if? That would be interesting. That would be an interesting turn of events. I'm not saying she is, but, and I'm not even suggesting that that's probably accurate, but what if? It would be an amusing situation. Very amusing. So just adding some nice deep shadows right into the neck, and you can start to just see. That's one thing that the old masters are really great at, is just creating creating drama through shadow. Even if they're not accurate, right? Like if you try to paint shadows accurately, you're probably never going to get near as much dimension and depth as a classical artist, because also, you know what, the other thing is that they painted at night or in the dark mostly. You know, like they would use either studio lighting or they would use candlelight, and you know, it's with candlelight that you can actually create some really interesting effects. So punching up some shadows, that's the goal with this piece, is just punching up some shadows here. And let's go. I'm gonna come around. How can we start to build this color around her face? And then we're gonna go build some shadow around her cheeks. Let's see, how can we do this? Just the subtlest of shadows coming around here from the shadow of the hair. Nice faint shadow around the cheeks here. Or should I say fainter? We're just gonna build this up. So we come around, let's see. Now let's get into this. All right, Dave, what's going on? Oh, these chats actually disappear, so I can't actually see the chats here, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish. Oh, here we go. She's supposed to be a 50-foot woman. Yes. She's supposed to be a massive, massive, massive human being. And let's see. Got these reds. What can we do with some reds here? We're gonna bring some of this around the side here. Around. She's a massive woman, the size of a house. All right, let's clean this off. And yeah, so on my YouTube, I'm not gonna be able to see the chats like I usually do because it's vertical. And when YouTube goes vertical, this like creates these issues chat-wise. I don't know why they can't fix it, but I don't think they can't fix it. It's just not top of mind for them. So go around here and let's keep adding in our highlights. Maybe add a hint of green, just Everest so hint of green here. Or like. And here we go. Just, that's the one great thing about oil painting is you're pretty much forced to paint over the course of multiple days, weeks. I mean, of course you're doing, of course it's unless you're like doing alla prima, which, is a skill, and that becomes a totally different form of painting. Alla prima meaning, in one sitting. I think it's an Italian word, or at first go or something like that. And it sounds nice to do. But it's not always like you don't always get the best effects from it, unless you're like really good, like Richard Schmidt. But even then, I think Richard Schmidt, painted over multiple sessions. So just building up our color here, our highlight in this area. A little bit of oil paint can go a long way. You don't need too much depending on what you're trying to do. This needs to come right under the nose. Come right under the lip here, so I've actually had this neckline a little bit too far out. So a little bit too far out with this neckline here. I'm gonna bring it in, and then her shoulder is gonna be like right around here. Go into here, and you can start to just see how, like, benefits of layering with oil paints here. I'm gonna have to work on this neckline for quite a while. I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on it a few times to really develop and adapt this neckline here. Now let's go into some shadow. Actually, you know what? I could just go into the hands here. Clean off this brush a little bit. Okay. Let's go get into our hands, and we're gonna add just a hint of like pink red at the tips here. I'm giving a little bit more of a, I'm giving a little bit more length in the hands here. And trying to give them a little bit more of like a delicate look. But I find it interesting when I paint from a distance, because when you bring it closer, when you get so close to a painting, you know, really, a lot of the stuff starts to change. Like things just kind of like change before your eyes. The way everything looks. Should come like right here. One, two, three, four. And then I could probably just add one more. It's not actually showing all 5 fingers, so I'm kind of like, you know, in a dilemma. So I don't know if I should or whether I should just allow this to kind of be its own thing. Let's go. Let's go like that for now. And this shadow can start to go away because it's not that deep, this dark of a shadow on the image here. Let's go ahead and continue on with this highlight here. So this highlight comes from around end of the wrist here. And here's the one thing I won't have the benefit of unless unless I figure out how this brushwork happened. And one thing I often have the benefit of is painting over areas. So I have to really, let's go, I'd have to really, if I want to paint over this area, let me see if I can even, let me give a couple shots here. If I had to, I'm gonna go over this space. I need like a nice deep brown as a foundation. Just a little bit of brown into this green. So going into here, if I want to close off the gap, I don't know if I'll be able to match this other artist's I don't know if I'll be able to match their entire masterpiece, their entire level of training, their mastery of natural wooded Hudson school colors. But I will, you know, go into here and just create an initial layer, which would be this, like, this green, just so we can, you know, have some consistency as far as the shape of this arm. So we don't have this like outside arm piece going around. Usually when I paint, I have the opportunity to block in some of these details, so I'm just trying to see how do I do that. Probably need a darker brown. Can't use these modern bright colors. What did you do, Cookie? All right, let's clean this brush here. let's move around this painting. So I'm going to deepen some of our yellows here. Let's actually use like a yellow for this side. I'm going to bring it down along the side here. This is my first time experimenting with a paint over, so I'm as excited as anybody else with the final results. But basically what my goal is right now is to create a base outline that we're going to work with for our trees, so that our figure doesn't have this this weird blue painted effect along the outside. And the way that I'm thinking I'm going to achieve that is by having a nice layer going around her and then painting over that. So, you know, this will be experimental. We'll see. I guess all my paintings are experimental, aren't they? We're going to come around just painting this in, and this will be how we paint over. I probably should have been a bit cleaner with my brushwork. We'll see if it works out. I should probably use a bigger brush for this. We're really just looking to establish like her shape. Trying to establish her shape from around her. By the way, if you're chatting on YouTube, sadly, when I do horizontal streams, I can't really see the chat. But anyways, I have my palette over here to my side, my glass palette. I like to use glass palettes because let's go with a little bit more yellow ochre. I like to use glass palettes because they're very easy to clean with oil paints. Unlike, you know, if you try to clean an acrylic palette, you really can't unless you clean it between every single session that you paint. Let's get a nice little layer going on. I don't actually know if this will work, but it's getting a little layer around her.
Knock, knock. Emmett.
Hey, who's that?
Can you guys...
Oh, what's up? Oh, Trevor. Hey, hold on one second. I'm streaming. Let me put my stuff down. I'm gonna. Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm just streaming, painting.
Cool. Is this the portrait?
Yeah, portrait. This is the project. I don't know what project you're talking about, but
this is not the wedding thing.
Oh no, that's down there. I finished the wedding one this morning, and it is recording. Just letting you know, but they can't really see you. Yeah, come on in, man.
Yeah, making stuff happen. Cool.
Yeah, so the wedding portrait's on the chair down there.
What's up, kitty? Hey, I know.
That's cool. It's making Airtight sound.
Oh yeah, cool. You know where her car is right now?
Yes, down there, sidewalk, down to the corner.
Can you point to the street?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So it starts automatically, like a push button?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so.
Huh? Yeah, one sec. Scout, where you at?
Are they in or out?
Huh?
Are they in?
I hope so. I only saw one of them. But the other one doesn't really like run away, so. Yep, there he is. Okay, cool.
Alright.
What's up, Scout? What's up, my kitty? Wow. What's up, Mr. Kitty? How you doing? I gotta leave these doors closed for a few minutes. It's hot in here. Summer in LA, but I think LA is the only place that I can actually paint during the summer without air conditioning. Most days. All right, we're back. We had to take care of some car things. And let's go with a nice gray. We'll go with a gray blue. Nope, that's not gonna be good. Let's go with a cerulean off-white blue foundation for this. We'll see how this goes. I don't necessarily know. This will work out the way I'm thinking or what, but we'll find out eventually. Okay. So we got some good ideas brewing. Got some ideas of brewing. So let's try to find some good shadow. Let's see, what's the shape of this? The shape of this is like come on in.
There goes the key.
Cool. There's a hook right there around the door.
Right by the door.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. I'm at this door. Yeah. All right. Yeah, she said Bonnie could take the car for the time.
Yeah, well, Bonnie's in Atlanta.
Oh, is she? Oh,
yeah,
she is. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So she's back Wednesday. So I'm watching the dog.
Oh.
Anyway, so.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
So I guess
Yeah.
I guess let me know if I'm gonna swing back by or whatever. I guess she'll let me know.
Yeah. So here's the thing that Kat was concerned about. Like technically, there's no signs there, so
Yeah.
people could leave it there, and I've left it there for like a week.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But she was hoping that because technically there is also an ordinance where you can't park more than 72 hours. So I don't know. It should be good, but I don't know. I would like maybe swap it in whenever.
Days.
Yeah, days or a week or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Bonnie's back by Wednesday, so she can.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey. Thanks. See ya. All right. That's what happens when you can't drive a stick shift. You got to get someone to come drive it for you. All right. So let's get this Brontosaurus back here. We got a little Brontosaurus action going. So I'm going to darken some of the Brontosaurus here. Let's darken it with an ultramarine blue. So the light is going to come from top. So we're going to do like top down lighting. So we're just going to go a little bit of shadow right there. A bit of shadow right there. And I don't even know how I'm going to. I don't know if I should keep these dinosaurs made up or whether I really want to look at references. Maybe at some point when I start to put on finishing touches, I'm going to pull up some references. This blue's probably a little too bright, so we're going to darken this blue a little bit with some black. We'll give the dinosaur some color, why not? Go underneath. Here. Into the feet. Along the bottom of the neck here. Under the feet right here. Just to give it some layers of dimension. And then I think the arms will probably come out right around here, right? Just below the neck. All right, and as for some of these eggs, let's give these eggs some different colors as well. I'll give it a more natural red down here. Honestly, these eggs might be pretty big. There's some pretty big eggs. But we're gonna come down into here, give them more wooded color. I think eggs aren't naturally like this bright white color. It's not natural for them to have just this super bright color. So we're gonna come around. It's going to create like a spherical appearance. And actually, if the sun's coming from up here, there's going to be some more shadow down here too. And let's see now. There's this brown. Let's go down into the leg of our other dinosaur here. We're going to grab some of this black. And because it's covered by trees, it could probably be pretty dark down here. I usually paint with reference, but this is one of those few times when I'm just kind of making stuff up as I go. Here we go. So we're going to paint this, get it darkened into this area around the leg here. I want to give this surface a little. You know what, with the highlight, we can go for a lighter gray transition. Let's go for a little gray transition around the top of the neck here. And then we're going to add a little highlight transition. So when I say like shadow, I mean, lower range of values, aka black. When I say Highlight, I'm talking anything that's like closer to white in value. And then, you know, basically where the light shines, there's going to be certain appearances of light and dark. All right, that's another dinosaur here. This is a pretty cool dino. Let's go ahead and highlight this baby. Let's add some highlights around its legs, around its body here. Where can I add a good highlight? Here's a good highlight. Give that one a horn. We can already start to see from a distance how some of the, you know, the light and the dark interact. Light colors and dark colors start to interact to create, you know, these dimensions. And maybe it's going to be one of those things where it looks better from a distance because it looks like, you know, this little dinosaur actually looks pretty good from a distance. But up close, you can see there's no detail like whatsoever. It's just a bunch of blurred colors. All right, so go ahead and get this blended in. Let's see, right around here, I want to get some more of a highlight, so let's add some more white. So the whites I use right now, I'm going through a tub of Daler Rowney Georgian oil colors. What's great is they made this as a pack of 2, and that's just awesome. Having a pack of 2, and it's a very wet pack, i.e. there's a lot of oil in it already, which makes it really good for trying to find the best, you know, the value in all the different oil paints. Technically, you know, the most highly valued oil paints have less oil in them and more pigment. However, you know, if you know your oil paints enough, then eventually you can start to, you know, figure out the combinations that work best for you. And sometimes, for certain things, you don't want oil paint that's so pure in pigment. You just want it to be like oil paint, to act like oil paint. So there we go. We're gonna bring this highlight down. Actually, this probably would come around. All right. Let's keep chugging along. What I'm looking for here is I'm just using my references. I'm just like pretty much copying ideas from my references. That's it. Just taking ideas from my references and then trying to formulate them into this painting. move this out, and then let's go. Let's go down here. We're try to find a highlight here. See what's going on in these chats. Come on. Okay, so no one has spoken. Hands are gonna be huge. And we can actually bring the body in a bit more now. This part, I think, is going to come in a bit more. This elbow area. Let's actually use a nice flat brush here. Let's go to a flat brush. I'm gonna take our nice little filbert brush here. Let's dip it in some white. Make it a little bit more gray. White. And let's see how this goes if we start to some more. The tip's nice and saturated. What is this wild dress? Very wild dress. Wild and wacky. Not wacky, but just, you know, wild. Not wacky. Nora said that. It's got a lot of, I don't even know what these are called. Sequins? What are these even called here? Here we go. I think let me see what I could do with a one of these. I break these all the time. These are my fan brushes, and these are just like, I cannot maintain a relationship with a fan brush because I tend to ruin them so quick because they're so delicate. I'm just trying to see how I can create, you know, some sort of texture or design with this here. And it's not any single brand of fan brush. It's like every brand of fan brush I inevitably ruin. Alright, let's go a little bit more detail now. And we gotta separate this like shoulder area. It's like shoulder and neck area. grab a hint of this ochre here. Let's see if we can plug it into the head, the top of the head, just the ever so slightest bit. Yeah, the paint's a little too wet right now. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Just get into here, the head crease just nice and soft. Let's see how we do this. We're going to come down. Let's actually add some highlight around the side here. I need a nice shadow under her nose. How much of a shadow do I really need? I really need too much. go? Where did we go? Down right here. Got the neck there. We're gonna go nice and gentle. I constantly look back at the camera because looking back at the camera helps me to shrink everything into like a smaller picture. Because definitely if you get too close to a painting, you know, it starts to, everything kind of just like starts to blur together. And you see, you see every single flaw and issue and problem and whatever. And that's not always good. So it really helps to get nice, to distance yourself from a painting every once in a while. From your painting. And you know, I find that to be especially true. Like, it's easier when you do not necessarily easier, but just when you do it via digital art. You know, it's extra important during digital art. Extra important during digital art, or easier during digital art because you can like just tap a button and then suddenly your image flips. Let's go ahead up in here. I'm just gonna go. I'll probably need to rework these lips a couple times. But definitely, let's go under the lip here. Get this lip nice shape. Yo, Crazy Fox, what's up, Dave? Slimming, nice touch. Dave, you notice all the details, huh? You notice all the finest details, Dave. Mr. Dave. Senor Dave. Thanks for noticing. Thanks for noticing, Dave. That's going to be a source of ever going maintenance. This section, I have no idea. I already can tell that I'm probably going to be working and reworking this section quite a few times. And I really need to know how to figure out how to shape this nose, because the nose is very distinct. I'm gonna reduce the shadow here. And really I can actually bring in the same highlights for our eyes. Brighten up these eyes a bit. Let me see how I can lengthen the hair. We're going to lengthen the hair. So every single time, you know, pretty much anytime I change a color, I'm switching out my brush. I'm taking my brush, I'm doing a separate, a new brush. Or not a new brush, I'm cleaning my brush very, very nicely between every single pretty much every time I switch my brush. Let's go with a highlighted version of this color here. It's going to come down like so. Just establishing the hair. I should have done that, you know. I'm constantly changing and modifying pieces. She actually a redhead? No. Really, this can actually go even a little further down. Let's bring this down even a little bit further. And dip this in a little bit of oil here. I'm just going to bring this down even further. Past. I'm gonna hide this finger a little bit more. Let's see, it's just barely peeking out. if that. Just barely peeking out. Let's work with a slightly smaller brush now. We're gonna bring out our, I just got this the other day, the Catalyst, Princeton Catalyst Polytip Bristle. I still haven't really broken it in. You can see how well it's kept its point. But let's see how well it will keep its point when I actually start using it. By the way, no brush ever survives my paintings. No brush. And if it does, it's too stiff. Oh man, never really thought about this, but this is a time where I got to start using my real maul stick. Where's my maul stick? I don't even know where it's at. Right when I actually need it. Right when I need it most. Here we go. So what do we have here? A nice little rubber maul stick. Clean off. Wipe off any dust particles. There we go. I want to come in here with some nice subtle detail. Choose another brush here. Let's paint in some nails. I don't actually know if her nails are blue, but we're just gonna go with it. And what is wrong with this hand? What looks wrong with the hand? What looks the most wrong with his hand is the real question. Oh, what's up, everybody? I haven't been seeing the chats because I'm doing the widescreen right now, but I'm doing pretty good. Ball stick time. Yes, exactly. The ball stick, the maul stick, the ball stick. I feel like everybody's just tuning in when I'm starting to get hungry. I'm probably gonna take a little break. I'm gonna take a break here soon. I need to eat dinner here soon. This finger just looks so disconnected from all the others. I think what it is the shadow here. The painting's tilting. That's not good. How's that? Hand's still a little jacked up. You know what? This section here, this part of the hand needs to come around like this. Yeah, I don't like horizontal streams, but as I go big with bigger paintings, I'm gonna have to go horizontal. Where's my chats at? My screen's not popping up with chats. YouTube. Ah, here we go. Just some long arms. Does she have long arms? You really think so? Compared to what? I think her arm's pretty normal size. Her arm is definitely normal size. There's nothing wrong with these arms. Yet. We're still in progress, you know. This is still a work in progresso soup. And I need to go make a trip out to a grocery store right now so I could get some food. So we're gonna take a little break, maybe a long break, maybe a little break. I might be back, I might not be back. What if I just never painted again? That'd be interesting, right? Like, imagine if I just never, is that like, not in a like sad way, like, oh, you know, I just gave up on painting, but like just made a decision to just never paint again. That wouldn't happen, but just hypothetically speaking, it would be an amusing situation, right? Let's make her arm a little bit thinner here. We can thin out her arms. There we go. Those arms look a little better. She's life size. Look at her. She's pretty much life size. This is pretty inaccurate. Her head's a little smaller, but that's pretty life size. I think, right? She's a little thinner, a little smaller, but this is pretty life size. All right. I know Dave still wants to keep making fun of my painting. Thank you, Dave, for pointing out all of the quirks of my painting. Really appreciate that. And it's funny because, you know, it's one thing when other people say it, but it's amusing to me because a lot of this stuff is like stuff that I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, oh, this eye's too big. This arm might look a little long. This highlight's a little too yellow. Her shoulder looks a little too high, which makes her one of her the left side of her chest look a little bit too high. Her neck has like issues with it. The lighting on her face probably isn't right. Her hair needs to be, you know, is a weird shape. So like, I'm not saying that's what I think, how I'm feeling now about everything, but you know, when people point it out, honestly, sometimes it's just the truth, you know, it's just the reality of the situation. Although, you know, with what Dave is saying about the arm, I think it's an accurate length. I would say that length of arm is accurate. I would debate that. Closing up my supplies now. Gotta get rid of some stuff here. All right, and as we wrap this up, as we're wrapping this up, I'm gonna close up. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I gotta get some mail. But as we wrap this up, let's see. I'm gonna close up our materials, and everybody, happy Monday. What a great way to start a Monday. Continuing on with the painting, continuing on with life, with creativity, with artwork, and just a wrap up. I mean, I use so many different paints. Otherwise, I'd love to talk about every individual paint. This is my latest paint that I just got in. So this is the. I've been seeing this all over Amazon. I absolutely love the branding and the marketing and the palettes. And by palette, I mean the color choices that they have, that are all for one specific, like, you know, specific style that you want to go for. This obviously is not what I'm painting, but it's just amazing to see great branding. And like, if you're purchasing paint for any specific artist, I think this is a pretty new brand. Let's see when this came out. It doesn't say. From the UK. Doesn't really say how old or new this brand is. Actually, you know what? There's this. I have a palette. This thing here. Okay, so 100% satisfaction guarantee. Yes. Try to buy it. Let's see. There's a Renoir collection of paintbrushes. Ooh, that sounds fancy. I might buy paintbrushes. I might buy some Infinity paintbrushes. But let's see. What is the history of Zen art? I feel like it's a newer brand compared to any of the other ones. But does it say no history? Non-toxic paints. Okay, that's pretty good. Recyclable large tubes, don't leak, easy to open. That's great. That's really important. All right, so no information on the history of this company, but I feel like it's fairly new compared to the others. Either way, I mean, great packaging. So great packaging means great gifts. So far, I've had a good time with the paint. I've only used it for a few times. But other than that, let's take our break now. And we might be back a little later. We'll keep them in. Let's see, is her arm extra long? It's fairly accurate. If I stand up, my shoulders up. Yeah, no, look where my wrist or my elbow ends or starts. It's fairly accurate. So, I don't know what you're on, Dave. Maybe we're not looking at the same painting, but my painting is perfect. All right, take care, everyone. Be back in a little bit, probably.